Well, let's start from the first thing that you need to get better in order to start your listening practice in French. Okay, before even starting the listening, you need to work on your grammar, because if your grammar is not strong, if you're not able to construct and understand the basic sentences and the phrases in French, you won't be able to progress in your listening. So the first and foremost, it's very important for you to work on your grammar and understand the base of the language. Now, let's move on to the step-by-step plan on how to improve your listening, being from a beginner to advanced level in French, to prepare for your TEF Canada. You can say this whole video or this whole structure is going to be divided into 4 phases. Let's talk about the first one. Now, first phase is where you are completely new into the language, definitely. Then how to start listening over here? Well, if you are at this phase, listening is going to be a completely new thing for you. Okay, I believe you have never heard French before, so it's going to be completely new for you. I'm going to play an audio in front of you. You let me know how much did you understand.
Ein bisschen was für diese Wochenende. Heute ist Samstagmorgen. Ich dachte, wir könnten zum Gartencenter gehen, ein bisschen draußen sitzen und pflanzen, aber...
Okay, so how much did you understand? Well, it wasn't even French. And that's the thing. Being a beginner, we don't even know what is French language, what is the accent, and what is the, what are the words in French language, and we are not able to distinguish between any other language with French. So, first thing is that we need to start having familiarity in French language. We need to know the sound of those words, we need to know the pronunciation of those words very clearly, okay, and how to work on that. Well, if you want to start that, start nowhere if you want to start your listening journey, but through Frenchify podcasts. Now, let's properly discuss what we are supposed to do when you're doing practice from Frenchify podcasts. First of all, you will be making a proper plan out for yourself, okay? Monday, video 1, Tuesday, video 2, Wednesday, video 3, and then on Thursday, you are repeating the first 3 videos, okay? Day 1 to 3, on day 4th, repetition of day 1 to 3, okay? Day 5th, new, day 6th, new, day 7, new, day 8th, repetition of 5th, 6th and 7th, okay? So this is going to be our plan to practice your overall listening at a basic level, but now let's talk about what to do in those videos, okay? When you start any video, firstly, pause after every 5 to 7 seconds or after every phrase. Completely fine, no issues if you're pausing, no issues if you're watching the transcript. It is very important for you right now to watch the transcript in French, so that not you're only able to listen to the audio, but you're also able to connect the audio with the written content. Okay, so that you're able to understand the sound of what is written over there, which is something which will make your brain to slowly and steadily start understanding the sense behind what is spoken and what is written. Okay, it's a subconscious process, so it will take time. Okay, so start the video, let the phrase get completed, pause it, listen to it properly, and then read it to understand its meaning, and then you can write it as well to kind of run the vocabulary through your mind properly. And let's do a quick rundown of what do I mean by this exercise. I have opened a Frenchify podcast, and I'll become a beginner so that I'm able to give you a proper idea on how a beginner should be practicing their listening. Okay, so because I'm a beginner, a complete beginner in French, I won't be able to understand anything. So whenever I am not able to understand anything, I'll be pausing in between and I'll be looking into reverso and I'll be noting down on my vocabulary list and so forth. Okay, so that's what we are doing.
Bonjour, je m'appelle David Leblanc.
Bonjour, je m'appelle David Leblanc.
Bonjour, je m'appelle David Leblanc.
Bonjour, je m'appelle David Leblanc. Je m'appelle David Leblanc.
J'ai 24 ans, j'habite à Toronto, au Canada.
J'ai 24 ans. J'ai 24 ans. So I'm also noting down my phrases which I do not know in my notebook so that I can learn its meaning as well.
J'habite à Toronto, au Canada.
J'habite à Toronto, au Canada. Okay, so now I don't know the meaning of habiter. Okay, so what will that be? Let's go to reverso. J'habite. I live. Okay, so j'habite is I live. À Toronto, au Canada. Okay, so this means I live in Toronto, Canada. Let's listen to it once again over here.
J'habite à Toronto, au Canada.
J'habite à Toronto, au Canada. So at this point, what I'm also doing is I'm not only listening, but I'm also reading, but also I'm also dissecting the meanings and writing them down in my vocabulary list or in my notebook, and I'm also pronouncing them at the same time so that the phonetics can start sitting on my tongue.
Je suis étudiant.
Je suis étudiant.
J'aime le sport, surtout le football.
J'aime le sport, surtout le football. Surtout. What is surtout? Especially. Okay. I love sports, especially the football. Okay, so this is how a beginner is supposed to be practicing these basic videos. I know it's tedious. It is supposed to be. Please do not worry about giving too much time into doing these exercises. I know it is slow, it is tedious. We have to repeat a lot and listen to it. Listen to each and every word carefully in detail. But that's the way to practice. It's going to build a strong phonetical base in your brain for yourself, which is going to help you in future. So keep this practice up. So this is going to be our phase 1, where we are using Frenchify podcast as the main resource for listening, and this you do it for 1 month. Okay, very important that you be patient over here. Do not try to rush. Don't be like, oh, I've done this thing for a week or 2 weeks and let's move on to phase number 2. No, you have to do it for 1 month. Stick on to these videos. The more you do them repetitively, the stronger base you will have to move on to phase number 2. Let's talk about phase number 2 now. Now, at this point, you are still practicing Frenchify podcasts. Okay, so keep on doing that. That will obviously keep on running. But with that, now parallelly, we are supposed to start this new YouTube channel, which is Listen EF. Okay, a Frenchify podcast is also, this is where I upload French stories with the animated videos. But Listen EF is also the same. These are French stories with animated videos. Okay, they will help you to diversify the level of vocabulary that you are consuming through listening. Okay, so the drill is going to be the same. Pick a video, day number 1. Okay, day number 2. Video number 2, day number 3, pick a new video. Day 4, you do a rundown of day 1, 2 and 3. This is something that we are doing from Listen EF now. Okay, so keep on practicing that. That will help you to build a wide variety of base level of French vocabulary for listening, and it will start training your ear to be able to recognize not only the French language but most common French words and the verbs as well, like être, avoir, parler, chanter, regarder. So this is the phase where you are now setting a proper base in your brain of the French phonetic. One more resource that we are adding in phase 2 is going to be Edito A1. Okay, now this is the point where you also start Edito A1 and start doing listening practices from there. Okay, so if you open any unit in Edito A1, obviously you are supposed to start from unit 0, 1, 2, 3 and so forth. Open the unit, you will see that there are practices called comprehension oral. Okay, comprehension oral. On that comprehension oral, you will see a yellow CD. Okay, or if you are buying a new version, there won't be a yellow CD. It will just be like a barcode which you can scan to access the audio. So let's say if it says CD number 6, you open the CD number 6 of the audio files that you might have with the Edito A1 book, and then you listen to that audio and then you answer your questions accordingly. Okay, and when we are doing Edito A1 or when we are doing Listen EF or even when we are doing Frenchify podcasts in phase 2, please understand the goal is not to memorize and comprehend 100% of all that you are studying. Please understand this. This is where everyone gets frustrated and everyone gets anxious that, oh, I'm like seeing a lot of new vocabulary. It's becoming very slow. I'm not able to move forward. Well, you don't have to memorize. Okay, you only have to be familiar in those new words that you see. You just have to write it down and make sure that you are seeing them and just like revising them somehow. But the goal is never to memorize. Okay, slowly and steadily over the time, these words will automatically be ingrained in your brain. Okay, so don't worry about that. Do this for a month. And then let's move on to phase 3. Now, this is a bit more technical where the actual running language will start happening, because this is the level of language that you will see that it's more real life language. Okay, it's not like made for beginners, but it's going to be real life language. Okay, if you spend 2 months into phase 1 plus phase 2, during your 3rd month, you will be moving on to this resource, French Facile. French Facile, a great channel to listen to French vlogs while also watching a video, which makes it very interactive to watch. Now, the goal over here is not to pause after every word or pause after every sentence, but the goal over here is to at least let the video running for 20 to 30 seconds. Then pause and see how much did you understand. Okay, if you didn't understand a lot, if you understand only 50-60% of stuff, rewind back, start back again. Okay, again, keep on reading the transcript. I'm not saying not to read the transcript. Keep on reading the transcript and then run it again and then run it again. Those 20 to 30 seconds. Once that time is properly understood, then you move on to the next 20-30 seconds. Run it again, then move on to the next 20-30 seconds, run it again and then move forward. Okay, so any 8 to 10 minute video might take you 1 to 1.5 years to just listen. Okay, not even to dissect, but just to listen, and that is okay. I'm not saying French learning is not going to take a lot of time. It is going to take a lot of time, specifically listening. At this point, you should be able to give 2 hours of listening on every day. Okay, if you're not doing that, you're going to suffer in future, because in TEF Canada, believe me, listening is not easy. Once you start building 80% comprehension in general French facile vlogs, then you move on to this another YouTube channel, which is going to be Inner French. Okay, Inner French. And for Inner French, you don't need to do anything, but you can start watching Inner French podcast, 30 podcast series. Okay, so this is here on the screen, and you start watching these videos and make a goal that you will be starting a new podcast after every 3 days. Okay, so start podcast number 1, spend 2 to 3 days properly into it, complete that 30-minute podcast, then move on to the next podcast. Repeat it for 3-4 days, keep on repeating, keep on revising it again and again, then move on to next podcast. And this is how you will be watching the Inner French podcast series as well. Okay, now also let me tell you, this is also the phase which requires a lot of patience. Usually people are like, oh, like it's been over a month and I'm not able to listen to anything. Is French even worth it? I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. Please understand, listening is one of the toughest things to work on if you're preparing for TEF Canada exam, but it requires patience. You have to give a lot of volume on regular basis to be able to do it. So keep it up. Okay, persist through this and keep it up on regular basis. Now at this point, it's very important to discuss that first you are watching the video and listening to the audio without the transcript, just so that you can see how much are you able to comprehend without the transcript. Okay, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to understand more than 50% of the audio without the transcript, which is okay. Then you switch on the transcript or the like the subtitles, so that you are able to note down the vocabulary, and so that you are able to connect the dots and understand what they actually said. And then third time, once you play the audio again or the video again, then go without transcript again, so that now you are able to challenge your brain into absorbing that French words and the French sentences without the visual cue. 2 main resources to use over here are French Facile and Inner French. Now let's move on to phase 4. First resource that we are going to use over here is going to be Easy French. Okay, now Easy French is one of the best channels to practice your French listening. The goal is to comprehend 80% of any video on this YouTube channel, Easy French. Okay, if you're starting, obviously your comprehension level on this channel will be about 50 to 60%. Okay, you have to bump it up to 80%. Once you are at 80% comprehension level of Easy French, then you switch on to RFI Français Facile. On RFI Français Facile, go on to level A2 and start practicing those audios. Once you reach like about 80% comprehension level of A2 level RFI Français Facile, then go on to B1 level section of RFI Français Facile and start practicing that. At this phase, the goal is to try to understand as much as possible without the transcripts, without the subtitle. Okay, so over here I wouldn't give you too much liberty into looking the transcript unless it's necessary. Worst case scenario, if you feel like you are not able to understand the context at all, then you switch back on the transcript in the middle to kind of understand the meaning. Once you build 80% of comprehension in Easy French, move on to RFI Français Facile. Once you build 80 to 90% comprehension in the A2 level videos or audios of RFI Français Facile, then you move on to B1 level. And once you build about 70 to 80% comprehension in B1 level audios of RFI Français Facile, then now you start with one more channel, which is one of the best channels that you can start. Go on to that like a fluent level in French. Now the channel is going to be Hugo Decrypt. Once you start this channel, you'll be around 50% of comprehension. You won't be able to comprehend a lot, even if you have transcripts on. Then also you will have about 50% of comprehension level, which is okay. Okay, now it is going to take time. Slow down the video if needed. Okay, go to 0.75 speed if needed. If you're not able to comprehend, then keep on practicing, keep on repeating. Then you go on to the normal speed, and then once you get comfortable, once you go on to 80 to 90% comprehension of Hugo Decrypt, that is the point where you have become a fluent listener in French. Okay, but having said that, coming up to this level is going to require a lot of patience and a lot of hard work and a lot of volume into listening. Even if you just keep on using these resources, results will be there. okay? But there is no magic pill. There is no specific magic routine or magic thing that you can follow which will just help you, start listening, improve your listening very soon. It's just a continuous and the tremendous amount of hours that you have to put. Once you go on to 80 to 90% of comprehension of You Go Decrypt, after this, you can go on to Prep My Future to purchase Prep My Future membership, where there are a lot of mock exams for TEF Canada. And once you start those listening practices, that will help you not only practice for your TEF Canada preparation, but also give you an idea how the actual listening looks like in the TEF Canada exam. If you want resources specifically for TEF Canada listening practice, like the audios that comes in the TEF exam, RFI Français Facile, TV 5 Monde, and RFI are one of the very important and useful websites to prepare for that. And I'll see you in the next video.